Okay, we're live again. Mauricio Garcia here, as always, excited to be able to start yet another podcast. And today we're going to talk about why we need to stop recruiting people to a business. And to talk about that, as always, we have the legend in business, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Hubert Humphrey, my friend and mentor. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be with you, Mauricio.
Awesome. Well, let's get started. What do you mean by, let's stop recruiting people to a business? I know it's kind of just a phrase there, but there's a lot of depth to it.
Well, it is, especially if you're in a team building business or you're building, you're marketing an opportunity to people. People don't want to be. Don't aim at their head and try to and get them to join a company. Or to join a product or something like that. Get them recruited toward an environment. Let the environment, let the atmosphere be able to make them feel what's going on. Let them have a sort of a conversion, if you will, emotionally, that pulls them into it. I call it MO-zone, the momentum zone. And we could have a whole podcast or two on MO-zone one day, but that momentum zone is where it's the way you walk, it's the way you talk, the way you look. It's like I like to. We do a lot of one-on-ones, but most of our success comes from getting these people to come to group meetings because you got the magic of a crowd, you got the environment, you got some people that know. You got some people at the meeting that know that. They know this principle, and so they're going to, when they meet people, they're going to act like they know these people. They're going to create the magic. They're going to, like, for example, if you came to the meeting and you had Andres, you're bringing Andres to the meeting. He's one of your prospects. You're bringing him down to the meeting, or you're putting him on the Zoom presentation. And of course, I'm gonna know a lot about him because you and I will have talked about him. I'm gonna borrow your relationship with him, and when I meet him, I'm gonna shake his hand. I'm gonna talk to him. I'll say something to him on Zoom because I'm gonna let him know that hey, he's a new old friend. I've been knowing you for 5 years. You've been knowing him for 6 years. So I've been knowing him 11 years. I just hadn't met him yet. So I've created. I want to recruit him more to a relationship, more to a feeling of mutual. We got like-minded people here. We all have been right where you were at. We all want to be somebody. We found a path to success, and we're glad that you're gonna come take a look at it. And all I want somebody to think about when they get around us is that, man, I wonder what they're so excited about. It sounds like from what they're telling me here, I could do this stuff. I don't even know what it is, but I can do it. You're creating those kind of feelings emotionally as opposed to, just a physical company. Hey, yeah, come join HDI. Well, who wants to join any company? Nobody wants a job. Nobody wants to go to a company. All we want is the success that comes from this. And if you let people feel your success, if they can smell success, if they can just see and have just a little bit of an emotional tug that, man, this is something I need to take a look at. You arouse their curiosity. That's really what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Now I can see why probably a lot of people that go in business in a type of business model like network marketing is that they probably operate under a paradigm of, let me tell you what makes logical sense here of why this business and the money and the system and the compensation versus really understanding human nature as we make decisions emotionally. That's why you're saying don't aim at the head, aim at the heart, and the events are what causes those emotions, right?
That's right.
That's okay.
That's right. The only real event, only important event is the event that if I'm just now approaching you with the intent of trying to get you to take a look at my opportunity, that's the only event right now that's worth anything. That's the event I'm fixing to have with you, and it's got to be a big event. I've got to make them. I got to make that guy feel so happy that he's met somebody like me, or or I thought enough of him to do it. See, most people out there, most prospects don't know this yet, but if we do this right, by the time they get into business, they're going to be so happy that somebody like us put their name on a prospect list and thought enough of them to share this opportunity with them, and how important it was to be able to be a prospect. And so it's an experience unlike anything else they're going to have. We're trying to create this world of opportunity that they get sucked into, they get pulled into, that they don't get anyplace else. If they have the same feelings someplace else, they still have those same feelings when they're around you, nothing's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got to be a little different there. And this whole thing about bringing people in, it's nothing hard. It's just, if you're excited, let them see your excitement. Let them feel your excitement. You don't have to be highly trained. I know a bunch of people that are really deep down inside are very excited, but they by nature they are inhibited. So I always tell people that one of the things we got to do is we've got to change your nature. Yeah, I remember when I was sitting in a room one time with Art Williams. I learned these lessons by mentors. I was sitting there with Art Williams. We got a group of new people there, and several of us leaders. And one of the up and coming guys out there was he was a good guy, but he was pretty quiet, you know. And Art was over telling him some of this very same stuff we're talking about here, and he says, and Art was saying, well, you know, you gotta show people your excitement. You gotta let them see your excitement. The guy says, well, Art, I'm kind of a quiet person. I've never really shown much excitement. I'm a passive person. That's my nature, and I'm kind of quiet. I just shy. You know, I don't want to come across bragging. It's my nature. Well, Art said, hey, change your dadgum nature. You got to change your nature, buddy.
Yeah.
And hey, whatever you're feeling, in our business, let your light shine. Don't hide it, like the scripture says. Don't hide your candle up under a bushel basket. Put it up where everybody can see it, and let your light shine. And that light, like moths being drawn to a flame, people are drawn to an exciting person. You don't have to be a great, exciting person. You just got to be a little railroad conductor, a little battery worker like you were there in a battery plant for cell phones. You just got to be somebody that's, man, I think I found something here. This is going to be something I can do. Just please just turn on your switch and let your light shine a little bit. That's the only training they really need to do what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and for those that are listening that are in that type of a business model, well, I think that in anything in general, if you are an excited person, nothing is more viral and contagious than probably somebody who's excited. And maybe you don't necessarily need to create these huge events, but if you are excited, even in little events, right? Because everything starts small. If I ask you, how were you able to go from you to recruiting, having a system that recruited 2, 3, 4 million people? I'm sure it was mainly excited individuals holding small events to mid-sized events to big events, but the most important ingredient was excitement.
I was excited genuinely because for the first time in 17 years, I finally was finding some place I thought I truly could escape from the railroad. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been trying, and so I was just so excited about it. And anybody that got around me, it activated their curiosity and greed button, because they could. What's going on with Hubert? What's changed about Hubert? Man, I don't know what he's doing, but he's sure excited about it. That kind of stuff. And so you just got to let people just got to feel that about you, and just light your little flame, and go. Let them see your flame and light their little flame, their little torch, and then they can go light somebody's torch. And it's like the Olympic torch relay that goes on for a long period of time, and all the way it's going to end up over there in Tokyo, when they light the Olympic flame. But somebody had a torch. Somebody had a torch that got lit, who lit somebody else's flame, who lit somebody, all the way to eventually lighting the Olympic flame. And that's really what we're doing here.
Yeah, I've heard you close some of your speeches with, that small sparks ignite great futures. That small spark, you're referring to excitement.
That's right. I could describe this. Some of you'll appreciate this. Mm-hmm. It's like we're doing business evangelism. We're business evangelists. We're business missionaries. If you got a testimony of the gospel, that's not a head thing. That's a heart thing. Mm-hmm. And if you're out, just like when Jesus took his 12 apostles, he told them to go out and basically recruit the world, so to speak, by converting them. And they did it one heart at a time, one person at a time. And it's a contagious thing. It's if somebody's got it and you're in tune, if you're hungry and looking for something, and somebody's got that spiritual happiness, and you say, man, how do they get to be so happy and have so much peace? And you're ready, all of a sudden through a spiritual medium, you infect them, and they've got it. And that's how missionary works. That's how it works here. We're business evangelists, and I don't care if you're in a networking business or not. If you're in any kind of business, you're going to want clients to do business with your company. You're going to want employees to go to work for your company. Mm-hmm. You're going to want to have vendors that will want to be known as that. Hey, I do business with this company. Well, the more you let your light shine, the more you and you're recruiting. I don't care who you are. You're recruiting those people.
Absolutely.
You're recruiting employees. You're recruiting vendors. You're recruiting clients. It's all a recruiting process. You just gotta use enthusiasm to make it happen. I heard a saying one time about enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is like yeast. It raises the dough, and so we need to have that enthusiasm. And of course, if you understand what the word enthusiasm really means, I think this will help some people. It comes from the Greek word entheos, E-N-T-H-E-O-S, meaning in Goded or God within. That's what enthusiasm means. It means it's that built into every human being in the world that ever comes to this planet, to this earth. Somewhere in there is this power. The Spirit of God is in seed, is in every person. It just needs to be shook up some. It's kind of like I tell people, you see an old-fashioned bottle of Coca-Cola. It's got nice, clear, dark liquid in a Coca-Cola bottle. Mm-hmm. You see a whole six-pack of it sitting on the shelf, and it's just mild. But that same little Coca-Cola, you pop that top off that Coca-Cola, put your thumb on that thing, and shake it up. What happens to that Coca-Cola, Mauricio? It fizzes. It fizzes and spews everywhere, because inside of that bottle, even though it looked dormant, when it got all shook up, like old Elvis Presley used to sing about, when it got all shook up, guess what? All of that carbonation and all that fizz, that dynamic energy inside that Coca-Cola was activated. And every human being is like that bottle of Coca-Cola, waiting on somebody to pop that top off, come put a helping hand, a thumb with them, show them a better way, and shake them up enough to unleash that entheos, that in Godedness.
Great analogy. Well, with that analogy, I think we can wrap this podcast up. I couldn't come up with a better analogy. So let's go out there and let's go shake our carbon here and just spray everybody with enthusiasm and excitement, because nobody's going to join somebody who is not enthusiastic and excited about whatever it is that we're doing. So before we wrap it up, though, I do want to remind you that this podcast is being sponsored by Hegemon Group International. And Hegemon Group International is in business of helping people create wealth for themselves, creating wealth for families. And it's got the best opportunity in America today. If you want to know what this opportunity is all about, just go to hgiopportunity.com. We made it very simple domain, very simple link is hgiopportunity.com. You may even find it below this video if you are following us on YouTube. And if you are also listening on a podcast platform, if you search, you may be able to find that link to go to hgiopportunity.com. With that being said, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Hubert, thank you as always for sharing all that knowledge with us. We will see you next week, sir.
See you later. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Warning, this podcast may change the way you think about business, entrepreneurship, and money forever. The Conquistador Podcast was created for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to conquer their future. To be an epic entrepreneur, you must adopt the right mental paradigms as well as master the art of selling, marketing, and finance.